pub is the best place to talk football. Agents are not usually seen in a pub, they're normally seen in an office. Alan Mullery is here to help me, and so is my friend, Mary Parkinson. The other side of me, Ronny Greeson, he's from Sweden, but he works as an agent in Norway. And Steve Davis commercially looks after myself, and that's why he's got wide pockets. He's got short arms and long pockets. Just getting straight onto the business of agents. Ronny deals in a lot of Scandinavian players coming over to Britain. What is it? Why do they want to come over here, Ron?
First of all, they have been very influenced from the British football since many years, and when you started this TV, every Saturday since 1969 you can watch the live TV football from England, and that's very valuable. And I think this is a good foundation for the Scandinavian players to come over to Norway, from Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark to England. And then when the Scandinavian players go to the training, they don't go that like a job. They go like they like to play football, and they are very reliable. When you have the South Europe player, the South American player, you don't know if they come to the pre-season starting. But the Scandinavian player is always there, because some of these, if you compare the Scandinavian player with the South Europe player, I would say they are overpaid and over there and maybe over some, yes.
Scandinavians have been very successful in England, haven't they?
Absolutely. The reason why is we have been growing up with the British football.
Yeah.
We have now a guest here, Alan Mullery, a big player from the 60s. We know the stories, and I think it's the Scandinavian player, they learn the lesson, they know the background, and they accept that England, they don't be influenced from the 1966, but they've been influenced from all the year when they see this football match in 69, but before that, from the British team who coming over to play for the pre-season in Scandinavia.
Which is very big now, isn't it? I mean, you've just been over there, haven't you, Vinnie?
Yeah, we go over, I don't know whether you went, Mullers, but we, like now, our pre-season now, because they have a break halfway through their season. Ronny deals with us and also a couple of other clubs, but when we used to go, like we'd go over there and it'd be a bus ride for 7 hours. You know, you'd be in a hostel somewhere, wouldn't it? Like, you know, so like now, obviously, because it's Premier League, like now we fly to each game and you're in 5-star hotels, one thing or another. And, you know, you can tell by the crowds that from Mullers' day, they were very influenced. You know, the fans, even the players. But now you sense the players are saying, well, English players, they have a game, they like to have a beer and all the rest of it. I mean, most of the Scandinavians I've played against, you know, they're too professional, if you like. I mean, there's no such word, obviously, but, you know, they nail it right down. And I think that's the difference, Al, from, as Ronny was saying, someone from Spain or Italy to a Scandinavian. Maybe players now, managers now, can rely more on a Scandinavian.
I think it's reliability. If you look at two examples, one with Wimbledon, for argument's sake, with Leonardson, bringing him over. Every game, literally, he would play the same type of game. Never dropped below it. Probably went above it, and this and that. So reliable is. If you look at Middlesbrough, for argument's sake, you look at an Emerson, a Ravanelli, 2 or 3 Italians that had in the side, you know, and you said to them, well, are they going to play well? I mean, then they go missing. I mean, you know, Emerson went home to Brazil and said his wife was ill, didn't want to come back. You know, he's only picking up 25 grand a week. It's not a great deal, is it? When you think about it,
yeah.
you know. And Ravanelli, like in his 40-odd grand a week, would say, well, you know, my wife's got a cold. So the reliability, if you're going to pay sort of millions of pounds or whatever, you must have reliability. You must have those people playing week in and week out. No disrespect to the lads that I've just mentioned, but the reliability factor, if you're a manager and you're paying that sort of money, if it doesn't work, then the first thing that happens is the directors come back to you, i.e. as the manager, and say, hold on, you made a cock up here.
Yep.
You haven't bought somebody that's going to be a reliable influence on the side. And that's important, and I think Scandinavian countries, you get more reliability from Denmark, Sweden, Norway, where players will come, and you know literally that they're going to fit into English football.
I think the big difference as well is that somebody like Ronny has now encountered is that for years and years, I mean, the Premier League, it was the Football League and everyone else, tried to condemn agents and their role and their influence and their involvement, and in fact wrote it into contracts. that clubs, if they were involved in the purchase of a player or the transfer of a player, weren't allowed to use an agent. It had to be the directors, of course, until it suits those directors. And of course now today, when it suits what are now major PLCs in the purchase of players and the basis of the way in which the clubs are going to operate, they go to people like Ronny, who has a unique experience in a place like Sweden or Norway, or Scandinavia generally, and they utilise his services. But what puzzles me is that I don't get involved in football. I like football. I like watching football. I don't know a great deal about football. A lot of people will tell you that. I operate in the commercial world.
You should ask Mary. Mary will enlighten you.
Let me tell you, and most people that I find involved on the business side and the commercial side of football, I wouldn't want to sell them boiled eggs. I mean, I find it a despicable business on the commercial side of things. But what I do find is, what puzzles me is this. Somebody like Ronny, who has a credible, good corporate head on him, who's doing a good job of work, not just in Great Britain, but presumably in other European nations around the world, he has to go almost cap in hand to an organisation like UEFA or FIFA and say to them, please give me a licence in order to go to work. He has to put up £100,000 of his money to an organisation in Switzerland to say, I have a job to perform, I am qualified, I do a good job, everyone wants to work with me, but I've got to give somebody in Switzerland £100,000. Now, you tell me, do I hear that from directors of British football clubs? Do I hear that from the chairman of football clubs? Are they beyond the role of agents? What about these players?